Hopefully I can get the sound of the fountain out of the background. It was so pretty outside though, and I plan on posting this on the solstice, so I really wanted the video to be outside. I hope that I can drown the sound out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's this sound, which I'm just hoping I can fix in editing. This will either be a video where there's like a small trickling sound in the background that makes you feel like you gotta pee, or it'll sound like a rushing waterfall. So, great. Now that I've highlighted the sound quality, let's get on to this video. This is the Wheel of the Year tag. It was originally made by Crescent Reads. I was so excited to do this tag the moment I saw it. I knew it was going to make my list for tags that I wanted to do this summer. I believe she posted her video on Beltane, and I wanted to post mine on one of the Sabbats as well, and Summer Solstice was the next Sabbat, so I made sure that I got my act together before Summer Solstice so I could film this video. I'll post a picture of the Wheel of the Year. She actually has really great definitions for each one, so I think you'll get the idea of it pretty quickly. I was really excited to do this tag because I also identify as Wiccan, which is like, I guess you'd call it a subcategory of pagan. You don't by any means have to identify as anything to do this tag. It's just a celebration pretty much of the seasons, and I think that the things that each season celebrates is something that everyone can appreciate. So don't worry about that. If you want to do this tag, you definitely don't have to identify with anything to do it. So the first question in this tag is, Imbolc, new beginnings, rebirth, moving into spring. What new to you book series are you anxious to start? I actually had two different answers for this one because anxious for me might mean something different than anxious for you. When I think of anxious, I think of anxiety, which I know normally doesn't work with a book you're like looking forward to starting. But for this one, I actually did have one I was feeling anxious about starting, but really want to read, and that is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I explained in one of my other videos, but one of the topics amongst all the other important topics in this book is death of the main character's best friend, and having just lost my best friend, I'm really anxious to start this book, but I also really want to read it, so I'm highly anxious about it. But for a book I'm more like anticipating and looking forward to but haven't read, I picked Nevermore, The Trials of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. I've been looking forward to this book for a really long time. Something about when I looked at it, I just felt really good vibes. I don't exactly know how to explain it. All I know is that I'm really anticipating this read and I'm excited to start it. And I actually have my last final today, so I plan on starting this tomorrow. 2. Ostara, Perfect Balance, Light Coming to Defeat Dark, The First Day of Spring, Name a Book with a Happy Ending. By the way, I love how all of these are described. Most all of the books in the Tortall realm, I'm gonna say by Tamara Pierce, are like this, but I picked Lioness Rampant by Tamara Pierce. I chose this one because at the end of each book, you're not really left with cliffhangers. You want to find out more about what's happening next, but each one has a very satisfying ending all on its own. You feel really good at the end of each book. 3. Beltane. Vitality and fertility, the peak of spring heading into summer. It is a time for passion and love. Name your favorite passionate couple, canon or not. For this one, I actually chose Guinevere and Arthur from Queen of Camelot. Sometimes in Arthurian legends, you'll notice that Arthur and Guinevere don't always get along. They're not always very compatible. This did a really good job for me of showing like their respect in their relationship while still being very passionate. This wasn't just her secretly being with Lancelot and being forced to be with Arthur. Guinevere's love for Arthur in this book is really evident, and every scene that they're together, I loved it. 4. Litha or Letha. I've actually always pronounced it Letha growing up. There's a lot of different pronunciations for these Sabbats, so don't feel bad if you say one wrong, because for the longest time my mom, who raised me Wiccan, called Samhain Samhain, so I always called it Samhain, and then it wasn't until I was older and came into more of the communities that I realized that most people pronounce it Samhain. But anyway, this is Letha or Litha, which is also today, which is summer solstice or midsummer. Ooh, I'm gonna say this correctly. Longest day. The sun is in full power. Life is in full, and it is time to celebrate before we begin the descent into the dark of the wheel. What book or character makes you feel most ready to party? For this one, I don't have the physical copy with me right now. It's not at my grandma's. It is Georgina from Succubus Blues by Rachael Marie. Georgina is one of those characters where I wish I had her confidence so much. She is a really fun character to read about, and I enjoyed every moment with her. She's very different from me, so I would definitely want to go to a party with her. And now my family member is laying out at the pool. So 5 is Lammas. First harvest, moving into autumn, the first grain is harvested. What tasty treat in a book would you love to be able to pull from the pages to eat? For that, it was actually super easy for me. I'll put the name of the fruit somewhere up here. The fruit in Sharon Shin's Summer at Castle Auburn. It is described in this book several different times as being like the most satisfactory thing to eat. It's juicy, it's tart, it's sweet. Every time I read about it, I'm like ruined for fruit. It also plays a role in the story. Like only certain people are ever able to eat this fruit because it's also poisonous, and you have to be like trained to take the seeds out. And one of the characters is like privileged to be able to eat this fruit, and she enjoys it, and I wish I could too. So yeah, I'd love to pull this fruit from the pages. 6 is Maybon. Perfect balance, dark coming to defeat light. The first day of autumn, a time of reflection on the year's fruitions. What is a project you are proud of that you have recently made progress in? For me, it was pretty easy, is this channel. I actually posted videos, which was something I didn't think I would do. Yeah, I've gotten a little bit better at it. I need to fix the music in one of my videos, the Summer Goals video. I tried doing music and I didn't like that very much. It was too loud. Actually, someone commented on it recently, so thank you for your feedback. I love feedback, by the way. If there's something where you think it could be actually like helpful, let me know. My classes, I finished my classes soon, and I really love school, but these last 2 terms have been hard with my personal life kind of washing over into my overall self. So school has been difficult just because it's just finding motivation to kind of get up and do it. I believe I'm going to pass all my classes, so fingers crossed. I hope I didn't just jinx myself. But I'm really proud of that because it's been a lot more difficult than it usually is, and it moves me towards my goal, which is eventually with my boyfriend and I to move to Japan. That's supposed to happen in 2020, and if I do everything correctly, then I'm on track, and I'm really proud that I've been able to stay on track. 7 is Samhain. All Souls Night. The point of death in the wheel. The boundary between worlds is thinnest. Time to honor ancestors. Name a book that represented your ethnic heritage, or if you've not read one yet, say what ethnic ancestry you'd like to see in a book. So my mom tells me that we have Viking ancestry, and I don't have any proof that that's true. I'm currently reading Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young, so if it is true, then I'm on point there. But if it's not, because again, the lack of evidence. I really am interested in Japanese culture, and I don't know how I haven't gotten to this book. I love Rachael Marie's writing, for the most part. There's been a couple things lately that I actually wasn't very into. She came out with a book called Soundless that I believe has to do with Japanese culture, but going off of good faith with my mom here, is I'm reading a book about Vikings, and so far it's really interesting and really good, and I've never really read a Viking book before. I watched the TV series for the first 2 seasons of the show Vikings, but I wouldn't say that I know as much as I would like, so yeah. Finally, there's 8, which is Yule. Deepest Dark. Darkness is in peak, and we wait for the light to return. What book dealt with a very heavy topic, but ultimately relayed a message of hope? For this one, I actually chose a book I don't currently have in physical form. I lent it out to a coworker, and I didn't get it back. If my coworker ever watches this, please give me this book back. And that is Our Kids by Robert D. Putnam. The book deals with the equal opportunity gap and how large it is, and if you don't know what that is, it has to do with kids' chances for opportunity as they go through school based off of their socioeconomic status, race, religion, everything that goes into whether you have opportunities to succeed in the future. And he talks about how to close that gap and how large it's gotten recently. It really motivated me from like a teaching standpoint. He doesn't just talk about the problems, he definitely has solutions for it. Sorry, my battery died. So it might actually even still die now because I only gave it like 30 seconds to charge. But yeah, whatever I said last, that was my last book. I hope you have a good Litha, Midsummer, Summer Solstice, or if you're really against it all, then Thursday. I hope you have an excellent Thursday. Either way, enjoy the sun or the stars wherever you are, and I'll see you next time. Bye! This is the Wheel of the Year tag. The original... Oh, I hope the wind doesn't mess this up too. Oy, outside. So let's just get started instead of me rambling on. Gosh, I look like I'm going cross-eyed. Am I? Am I cross-eyed? Anyway, what was the question? Crescent Moon reads? Can I get help from the audience? Okay. All I wrote was fruit.